All right, everybody, coming at you with your March market update. Interesting spring market that we find ourselves in this year. Slightly more inventory gains are bringing a more balanced market, and benchmark prices did trend up across all regions. So, according to our board, inventory levels in March closed out with just over 2 months of supply. So this is an increase over last year, but lower than the 4 month supply reported at the end of 2023. So, end of 2023 was kind of that dead zone where we had a ton of supply. A lot of people were able to scoop up homes at prices much lower than the peak of 2021. Even at higher rates, it did make sense. And we're still seeing that out there with homes that, require a lot of work. Maybe they started out priced a little bit too high, but we'll dig into that a little bit more. Now, the interesting thing is the unadjusted benchmark price rose to $850 this March. So that's nearly 2% higher than March 2023. And prices generally trended up across all regions of our market. So that's Hamilton, Burlington as well. Prices do remain below that 2022 peak, but are still much higher than pre-pandemic levels. So one thing to look at when considering all this is the entry point into the market for the home that everybody wants to buy. So typically when people decide to purchase a home, they're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom detached house with at least one parking spot in a reasonable school district neighborhood. Basement doesn't have to be finished. It doesn't have to be income. It doesn't have to be super renovated, but something that you can move in and cosmetically improve. Now, that product in our market is really only attainable once you cross $600,000. The $600,000 to $650,000 price point really is the entry point for a freehold home in Hamilton, which is quite high. So, interest rates haven't been able to stop the rise in housing prices. There's just quite simply not enough of this product that people want to buy being built. When the stress test was introduced in 2017, everyone thought that was going to be the end. And yes, it was the end on bidding wars for homes that had, no kitchens and water in the basements. Pandemic lockdown mandates, that did not stop the housing market. And then we flooded the market with a lot of free money and, bid up the price of assets, of which there is a limited quantity. So the entry point to get in now is around $600,000 to $650,000 for an entry level home. Now, what we're seeing on our own listings and with buyers that we're working with, that $600,000 to $800,000 price point is extremely, extremely competitive. It's not uncommon to see 10 plus offers on a house that meets this description. So the market is pricing in, it looks like it's pricing in a 5 to 10% increase in housing prices in the short term. There's a couple great reports out that you guys should read. One from RBC talking about household income required to purchase a home, and the CMHC saying, in 2025, housing prices could return to the peaks seen in 2021. So we're kind of living in this bizarre world where first-time home buyers are really shut out of the Hamilton market for entry-level homes. And, it's almost like real estate feudalism, where if you own assets, you're able to transfer that wealth to your family. But if you're trying to get in, it's extremely difficult. So what would I do if I was a first-time home buyer in this market? I would be looking at entry points and seeing, partnering up with friends. I would strongly consider condos. I would consider freehold townhomes. I would look for the lowest possible entry point because, as your money in your bank isn't safe. Get it into an asset that can't be printed, debased, or duplicated very, very easily. Housing construction starts are down. Builders don't like to build during high interest rates. If any of you have done a renovation lately, we all like to joke, just the drywall in my house cost $40,000, and it's crazy. So, we are hearing through the grapevine that folks who are doing big renovations are undergoing projects, are going down to the States, bringing things up on flatbeds because it's just so expensive to build here. I was talking to someone who works closely with developers, saying that, just the concrete cost to build a building, $35 million. So it is a huge cost. And if you're borrowing that money at 7%, just imagine what it costs to build. So, we still have this serious supply crunch. Now, the benchmark price around $850, that is really the price for what people want to buy as well. Once you cross 800 to a million, buyers are becoming a lot more discerning as well. People are not willing to buy straight hot garbo and junk just to get into a good neighborhood, just because people are hanging on to pre-pandemic pricing. So it's something to be very, very mindful of as a seller, but people are willing to compete for a good product that is that is presented well, priced well, placed well in the marketplace, because there's still nowhere near the supply to accommodate those folks who do want to make an upgrade. And the people that we're seeing making upgrades are folks that purchased prior to 2016, really. They haven't done anything crazy like refinance their house and get a mortgage and a Sea-Doo and a Rolex. They're just, paying down their mortgage, living their life. They have some built-in equity. Maybe their mortgage balance is under 200,000, and they're thinking, you know what? Yeah, I can quote unquote only get 7 to 750 for my house, but that puts me into a 9 to 950 price point. What's out there? There is not enough good product to service those people, and they're like, you know what? It's just not worth it for me to take on an extra $200,000-300,000 worth of debt to get one more bedroom in a house I have to renovate. No, thank you. I'm not interested. So sellers, things to be mindful of, definitely you want to pick your price extremely well based on what's available, and be very honest with yourself with the quality of renovations. Try to put yourself in a buyer's shoes saying, hey, does this house accurately represent the value that it provides? And is there a little bit of equity here in the short term? People love a little bit of a short term game. If you have to get out of your house for whatever reason, that is definitely the right way to go. And that's not to say that, houses that are presented well, that feel good, that make sense, they are moving quickly. So, buyers, get your ducks in a row for your financing. Sellers, make sure your house is as immaculate as you can make it. Clean it, stage it, photograph it well, include floor plans, make sure you get as many people as the door as possible, and listen to the market. If it's talking to you loud and clear, that people aren't willing to come forward with the offer, be very, very aggressive and immediate with your price adjustments so you can capture that. Now, where is this all going? People are talking about the Bank of Canada maybe lowering interest rates. I'm going to zag a little bit on this. The 5% interest rate is doing its job. Some of the steam is coming out of the market. People are saying, I am not willing to pay that for that house and carry a mortgage at, in the low fives on a house that doesn't get me anything I want. As a result, we're seeing those prices come down. So, we had that big free money punch bowl at the party where, the Bank of Canada was like 2%, no, 1.5%, no, 1%. It's sort of like you're at a big party having punch and somebody comes and keeps pouring a bottle of tequila in it. And this hangover of inflation is just finally starting to come out of the wind of the sails. These 5% interest rates are, it's reducing people's buying power. People can't buy, people can't move. And as a result, we're seeing those higher prices starting to come down. And unfortunately, we're still getting kicked in the teeth with, rampant government spending and the carbon charge that we all get charged, HST, on driving up prices as well. So not desirable. But if one thing has remained true through this, real estate is a great safe haven in the face of inflation. Everybody always needs a place to live with dignity and respect, so they can provide for themselves, their friends, and their family and their community. So as always, reach out if you have any questions about your unique real estate situation. Always happy to chat, even if you're not considering transacting. Always good to have an equity update as well. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes of one of us coming over to your place, let you know what your house is worth, help you with some decision making, and